Hockey Nation fans, welcome back to the Hockey Nation live show with Coach Frenchy in the booth and Michael Devellano somewhere, somehow, in the West Coast, California. Michael, this is the day of the year.
I know normally we'd be somewhere for this, but it's the first
Usually,
virtual draft.
it's amazing. We've been there for many years, and we know as a fans, this may be the best day of the year, to be honest with you, with all the management, usually the coach, the scout, and everybody one time per year, they all together at same place, same
Yeah,
location.
you'll
And
see so many people that you know, and it's a great opportunity to network when you're a scout, and you
exactly,
learn from other people, and it's
exactly.
definitely unfortunate. It doesn't feel as exciting, but it's still a big day.
Oh, but I am. I'll be honest with you. It's the first time I'm going to be on live NHL draft tonight. We're going
Sure.
to try to bring this show on live with what's going on the NHL area. Everything like that. We are excited about this to be done. Hopefully, you guys you can join us if you're interested to join us, and we give you the link of the Zoom, and it would be great to have maybe one, two, three more people. But by the way, I will try to get Matt D'Amico if it's possible. He's an expert, guru, stat, prospect, everything like that. Maybe join us, maybe during afternoon, give us his thought about the night tonight. And I can wait, to be honest with you. And the last 24 hours and set up everything, prepare for that night. And it'll be excited to see 7 o'clock p.m. tonight on many channel, sports channel. You're going to see that draft. And remember, tomorrow 11:30 a.m. the NHL go from round number 2 to round number 7. It's going to be with Bill Daly, and tonight, of course, Gary Bettman. They are set up great virtual NHL from Montana. Everything like that is pretty amazing. What's going on? Everything like that will be
Montana.
impressive. Yeah, I'll be impressive by what they did tonight. So I can't wait to see that. I know a lot of news already. Since we left each other
I know.
yesterday at 12 p.m., a lot of things happening around the league. But the biggest news, honestly, is Connor McDavid. Um, Connor he was test positive on the COVID-19. It was report late last night, and that's who he is right now. He's on the quarantine by himself, self quarantine, and will be there for 7 to 14 days, and look like he's just have a mild symptom and not like
Yeah,
you know big problem there. But overall, I think he's going to be fine.
it's
But
gonna be totally fine. Usain Bolt's had it. Cam Newton's got it. He's got it. People test positive, and they're fine.
yeah, it has a situation for everybody right now starting to get that
I
part there.
It's getting
Um,
crazy out there.
yeah. Talking about the couple of news, of course, before we talk to the second segment of the show today about the NHL draft, we have to go a couple of things about this. One of the big news I believe I talked with you yesterday. If not, it was maybe the second video of the day, but it was the situation with Matt Niskanen announced his retirement from the NHL. Defenseman played over 14 and 13 seasons, won the Stanley Cup with the Capitals in 2018. Um,
Did he win with
th-
Pittsburgh too?
I'm sorry again?
Did he win with Pittsburgh too?
No, he did not.
He just won one cup.
Yep, yep. Um, so
Oh yeah, Washington. Yeah.
my question to you is, what do you think about that one over there? Um,
I mean, we don't know what's going on with players. He's by today's standards, he's pretty young. He's 33.
yep,
Um, he's been relatively healthy over his career. Like, if you look at him, he hasn't really missed a lot of time, and he's still a very good top four defenseman. So I think it probably surprised some people. Not sure what the motivation is. But if you're thinking in your head you don't want to play anymore, look at Dustin Bufflin. I mean, there's nothing physically that you can see outside of what we see that would prevent Dustin Bufflin from continuing to play. So it might be the same with Matty Niskanen. Like, injuries do add up. These guys play through pain. You don't know what's going on with them at home. You don't know what's going on with them with painkillers, like I think painkillers are a real problem. So you don't know what is happening, right? Like, people, if someone's self-medicating to keep playing, which maybe that, I'm not saying that's the case with Matt Niskanen, but playing consistently through injury leads to problems. So, maybe he's just saying, I'm good with my career. I've had my cup and I'm done.
Um, I try, be honest with you, to look around, to go a little bit deeper on Twitter or on to read about, because the only thing he mentioned, he just thanks everybody. It's fan
Yeah.
organizations, fan fans, teammates, everything like that. He did not mention anything like
Nothing.
I'm quitting because of this or this. So it's really
Just,
quiet about that one over there. I'm sure a little bit later we're going to hear about the reason behind. So like you said, we don't know exactly.
you
Maybe
never know.
you know what I mean? I just remember a little bit, surprised me. He was selected by the Dallas Star first round
Yeah.
pick, number 28 in 2005
Yeah.
um, NHL draft. You know what I mean? So he's still, Niskanen scored 356 points, 72 goals, 284 assists. And listen, he's 33 years old.
Yeah.
But listen, he played already 949 regular
Adds up.
season game with the Flyers, Capitals, Pains, and the
Totally.
Star. He had 42 points and 6 goals, 36 assists, and 140 playoff game. He have a lot of mileage. I'll be honest with you, he looked like, for me, he started right away as an 18 years old. So he has over 15 years in NHL. I feel like he's almost like 37, 38 as a player
Yeah.
playing
He
in
started
NHL.
young.
Yeah, I mean the
True.
mileage he got on the NHL. So yes, it's very young at this. Remember, he still have a contract of one more year to go at
Yeah.
$5.75.
So to walk away
Obviously,
from that, like
um,
something's up.
it could be this, and also, the hockey players. Some of them are very smart people. They are
Yeah.
really smart, know exactly what they want, but
Yeah.
you have no how I say it, decrease of his play. You know what I mean? Like it's not like personally he got bench or he got like defense now six. He
Yeah.
was on average at 23 minute per
I
ice.
know. That's why, like, he's still playing really well, but sometimes hockey players will play to the last. Like they'll play till they're broken, right? Just to try to win. Here's a guy who's already won a cup. He's had a lot of success. I don't know. He's an American player, so maybe they view it differently, right? Like I think we're seeing a generation of American guys and they definitely think different from Canadian guys. Like, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't
Um,
know him, so I wish him the best. Hopefully, it's the right decision for him. And
I agree
now
with
Philadelphia's got a
you.
big gap to fill.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think the desire sometimes, the passion losing maybe, and something
Yeah.
behind that. By the way, I apologize. I should start the show this way. Today is the happy days for all the coaches around the world today.
Oh,
Uh,
why?
yeah, so I happy coach days.
Is it a Happy Coaches Day? I didn't
Yeah,
know there was a thing. There's always some day. Yeah.
yeah, so thank you for all the coaches around the world, what you bring, your passion, and whatever the level you coach, from NHL to the the young 5 years old, teaching them. We thanks for what you bring on the table and your passion, and also your dedication to helping and teaching the any youth hockey players. So thank you so much for everything. I took a note, but unfortunately I did not start the show that way. But I just want to mention this and
Oh,
be
that's
part of
great.
that group. I feel blessed to have that to do this for over 35 years. It's not about me today, but I'm a part of this, and I'm just sharing my thought about this. Is a great journey, and I think it's a really it's priceless to have an opportunity to impact and changing not only hockey player but the human being behind everything. So happy
Well,
Coach Day for everybody.
there's nothing more satisfying than having coached players at, like, in different leagues and different areas, different levels, when they're 11, 12, 13, and you see they keep trying to play the game. Some of them playing right into college now that I've coached when they were 13 and 14. And that's what I love. And then other people go on to great careers. I coached 89, 87s, 89 birth year, 90s and 91s and 92s. And now, you see these guys have families. Some of them are professional. Some of them are just living a normal life. But I think the thing that binds them all is the sport and their love of the sport. And there's nothing better as a coach than seeing that.
Absolutely,
So
I agree with you,
I
Mike.
think coaches impact people in that way, and that's what you want. See people have a good life.
So just mentioned this today, but back again a little bit more. Minnesota, Minnesota Wild continues to strike every day right now with trade after trade. So,
I don't know what the plan is, but so I guess I'm not surprised they moved Dubnik. He struggled a little bit. He had personal problems. He played at a very high level for them after he left Edmonton. I mean, he played 4 or 5 years there that were very, very good. I mean, he was an all-star 3 times. So San Jose though is very strange to me. Like I don't know what they're doing. Like they now have two goalies that have struggled. So I don't know. They're thinking of splitting the time between two guys that are kind of both reclamation projects. I don't get that.
so
Like
the
the rest of
trade,
their lineup's built to win now. Like
yeah. So the trade is Devin Dubnik got trade from Minnesota to San Jose for 2022 NHL draft 7th round pick.
like
It's
nothing.
almost like giveaway, but at the end of the day, remember they have a salary behind that.
Salary.
50% of the salary is going to be paid by um, Minnesota.
Minnesota?
Yeah, and then 50.
Really?
Yeah,
50%?
yeah.
So he's gonna make what, 2 mil there?
Yeah, so you have an average of $4.3 million per year. So it's 200, 2.150 will be 75, whatever it is.
It's gonna cost them more than that, don't you think, to get another goalie?
For Minnesota,
I think so.
they will definitely they will maybe try to also they maybe not give a number one to Alex Luck. I'm sure they're going to, the market for goalies right now is pretty good. So I think they have an
Um,
outlet there to give them another cap salary. Uh, Gary is moving. Gary is
I
starting
feel
to
like they're
take.
running out of goalies. Like guys have signed, right?
So Minnesota is starting now to changing the culture, and he want to become his team, and he have a plan. Look like that's what he's doing right now.
For
After
sure.
Eric Stahl, the signature, the contract, of the defenseman.
Well, we're finally going to get to see, if we have a season, Kaprizov. So that's the player who's just been amazing in Russia. I'm assuming that he's not going to play center here or play wing. So they've got Fiala. They still have Parise and Suter. They have a massive contract for Spurgeon. I'm not clear on what they're doing, to be honest with you. Like
We
this
don't know
must be a
yet the
multi-year
plan, but
rebuild.
yes, obviously, yeah, I'm sure you have a plan behind everything. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, for sure. It's just interesting.
On the flip side, Doug Wilson, manager of the manager of San Jose, got yesterday Ryan Donato from Minnesota, and now he got a goalie. The social goalie there, and is a little bit different for San Jose. San they got trade a couples now. Aaron, I think that's the end of Aaron Dell. He's become like another UFA. October 9, have a 12, 15, 3, 301 and save 97 save percentage. I don't think so he's a number one on any level, honestly. Now I think you're a little bit a better backup number two. Matt John is still there, right? Um, but Matt John have only like .896 save percentage yesterday. So I think overall, I think San Jose thinking maybe short time, and they honestly they got him for almost nothing, Michael. So I think at some point they're going to see what happening over there. So overall, um, so that trade between Minnesota and San Jose for the second time back-to-back days. And if we move on to the next news, finally, it was happy to hear the GM from Toronto the Leafs, Carl Dubas,
Yeah.
mentioned honestly no reason to trade Frederick Anderson He will remain number one goalie for Toronto Maple Leaf. I think that's the right things to do. I don't know who start.
Well,
Everybody.
he did because he was trying to trade him to Carolina for Dougie Hamilton, and they rejected it. And if you read his statement, it's not really endorsing Anderson. It's very weird. Like the headline does, but when you read his statement, it sounds very like not committed.
I don't see me Anderson leaving. I'll be honest with you. I
I
don't.
don't either, but I mean, I think he's trying. Like if you read his statement, it was kind of like weird. So it says Anderson to remain Maple Leafs next starting goalie. Um,
Listen,
but then you read what he says, and it's like he was trying to trade him.
Anderson on my head, for me, is one of the top 10 best goalie in NHL.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Right now, he has one more year on his contract before he move up. I believe they have a chance right now with the salary cap and with everything happening right now. I believe he can sign up for $6.5 million.
I would not be surprised. So
I
I'm,
will
I'm just going to read you the
I
statement.
will
So
fight him. Go
this
ahead.
is what he said. As of this moment, yes, I expect him to be the starting goalie for the team. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement. I was just going to say come October, but whenever we get going here. So that's the way I feel about Fred. It doesn't say I love Fred. Of course he's our number one. We were never going to trade him. He says, as of this moment, yes, I expect him to be the starting goalie.
I agree with you. It's not a big statement for sure to guarantee Anderson say, "Hey, I'm going to be there
Jesus.
next year." But again, I don't understand. But it's a time to sign up right there under $7 million, and you secure him for 5 years. You're
Yeah.
going to be 36 at the end of that part over there. Listen, what you can ask him more? 1.84 and 93.6 save percentage
Yeah.
during.
We saw the problem. They weren't scoring it right at the right times. They blew out one game and then they got shut down and they turn over the puck a lot.
I have a
That's
little bit,
not
a
Freddie
little bit
Anderson's problem.
I have a little bit, and because my friend is a part of the Toronto, and
Yep.
I know a little bit, but like he always said to me, look, I always have a great communication, great work ethic. The kid
Yeah.
work hard. He come to Toronto during the summer to learning everything like that. Uh, Great person, great human being. So at the end of the day, I don't said, what I mean, don't know why they try to get him
I
out
don't know.
there, but
It doesn't make sense. Like our goalie coach in Everett was in Anaheim before, and he's coached with Freddie, and he said he worked really hard, and he's lived here in my like 10 minutes from us. He lived behind our friends, and they train every day. They work hard every day. Like he's a hard worker. So he's a big guy. He's talented. I don't know what you want.
I know, it's a little bit strange right there, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll
The
see.
media in Toronto influences weird things. Like they write these sensationalist articles, and then people in management listen to them because they think fans are freaking out.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Talking about news, we have a couple of news signature yesterday. At Minor from Minnesota, again, they signed Nico Sturm, $1.45 million, 2 year
Yeah.
contract, 725K. Is a 25 years old center. I don't know if you know a little bit more about Nico Sturm.
I just know they've been trying to get him over here for a while. Um, so I don't know what to expect. I think he's kind of like a third line type guy. I don't know if he's like a second or a first type guy. My understanding but I don't really know a lot about him. I don't know if he's related to Marco. I don't think so. I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I agree with you about that one over there. I think at the end of the day, he's just like depth chart.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what I mean. I
Yeah,
don't.
he's a German kid. Just his brothers are Dennis and Timo, so it doesn't seem like he's related to Marco. He's 6'3", 207, so he's a big guy. He's played a long time. Like he played in the AHL. He played at Clarkson. He was the captain at Clarkson. So he's played over here for a while.
Earlier we talking about Niskanen. Let's talking about Philadelphia Flyers. Yesterday we have a new signature resigned Justin Brown, a 2 years contract, 3.6, 1.8 million. I don't know if we talked about this yesterday. I think it was
Yeah, a
after,
little bit.
but it's another one. It was like a 7 round pick, 201 and 2007 NHL by the San Jose. He's
How
always
much
been,
was this contract?
I'm sorry, 3.6, 1.8
Oh,
million per year.
you know what was a weird contract to me? Carson Soucy. Did you see that?
Yeah, so it was the next thing. You can talk about this, no problem.
He got $9 million over 3 years. The guy's played 58 games. Am I missing something?
Um, it,
Like, yeah, who like you just signed Sekera and Dallas for like 1.5 million,
um,
and this guy
I was
gets
a
two
little bit
point
worried,
eight.
not worried about him, but I was surprised when I saw the signature yesterday. I was asking you about what you think about that one and a
I
little bit more,
don't
a
get
little more
it.
about him. Um, you know what I mean?
Like,
Carson is when he was with them for what was it, 2000? He's
he's
a
a
94.
94, right?
94. He played.
Yeah, he's not young. So he's a Lloydminster kid, like Alberta, but I mean, he played in Minnesota Duluth. So, but still, like he's played like, let me count it, 58 games in the NHL,
Yeah.
and he gets 2.8 million for 3 years. So they must see something that I don't know about. He had 7 goals, so he seems to be able to get a little bit of points, but he's not like crazy numbers. Like to me, that screams depth, and it seems like
I'll be
you
honest with
dumped
you.
salary and then you picked it up there.
I don't know about that one again.
I don't get
Sometimes I
it.
understand everything, and I apologize, but this one I don't get it.
I don't get it.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. And when you pass $2 million with salary caps going on, the guy had to produce at least 10 gold per year, 15 gold per year. I don't see what Susie can do this.
Well, okay, so if you prorate it, he is a 10 goal scoring defenseman because he had 7 goals in 55 games. I get that. But still, like that means you better be top four.
But again,
Like
the only
you
guy
got
was good
Spurgeon
too,
at 7.5, you got Suter at 7.5, you got Dumba at 6, you got Brodin at 4, and then you got him at 2.75.
Looked like Minnesota paid very well their D.
Yeah, man, that's a great place to be a D. It's like, yeah, just back the truck up.
I don't know. Is there the thought about that one over there? Let's move on.
Then they talk about dumping Dumba. You're like, keep that guy.
Stay a little bit on the Pennsylvania side, but move on a little bit more. Um, Pittsburgh, honestly, placed on waiver Jack Johnson yesterday. Um, I think we talked a little bit, but maybe if you can bring a little bit more the situation with Jack Johnson, a little bit his movement, everything like that. What do you expect and what do you think, Jack? Who can get Johnson, everything like that?
I've never really been in love with the guy. He started in LA and he moved to Columbus as part of the Jeff Carter deal, I believe. So to me, he's always been like, he's big and he's got skill, he can skate, but I never found him to be a conscious of the fact that he has a partner. So like, you would, and it's like, even to this day, you'll see him like he's on the weak side of the D, strong side D pinches in, he pinches in, and then there's like transition. And he just does things that drive me nuts. I remember when he was in the World Juniors and he was flipping off the crowd. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So he's always been a weird character. He had a really unfortunate thing where his parents ripped him off and he lost all his money. So he kind of started over again financially. He got that 5-year deal from Pittsburgh. So it was a feel good thing. And I still wasn't like really in love with him. He's got a bunch of time that'll get bought out. Like, I don't know how many years he's got left. He's got 3 or 2.
Yep.
So I don't know. I never loved him. If you want to upgrade a spot on Pittsburgh, that was a logical one. I don't know if they're going to try and keep Schultz. I don't think so.
By
I
the
don't
way,
know what's
not
going to
that
happen
on
with him. I gotta guess he'll pick up somewhere else, but I've never been a big fan of him.
talking about Sven Hughes all around, they have not much between OEL and the organization of Minnesota, Arizona. They
Yeah,
still talk a little bit. Um, to see what they can do. So Bill Armstrong still talking with him to figure out what's the plan, everything like that. So, but no development this side. Now the big development is from Tampa Bay Lightnings. The Shaker untouchable players are Andrei Vasilevsky, Victor Edmond, Brendan Point, and only Nikita Kucherov.
What they're not putting Stamkos on that list?
No, from Bob McKenzie, he is on the move right now to try to get trade if it's good defined.
Stamkos?
Yeah. So,
Well, I mean, they didn't need him to win, but
but here's the point. Here's the point. Um,
I get it.
they won the Stanley Cup without him,
Yeah, totally. That's what I'm saying. They didn't need him.
and then the salary cap. The problem of this
The
remind me
cap is big. It's 9.5 or something.
8 point something. I could be wrong. Maybe you're right. Remember you remember when Chicago Blackhawks win? I think their second or their third Stanley Cup when they have to move out some player like Big Biff and then they did it, they gave away couple of
Sure.
players. I believe right now Tampa in the same situation without giving away a
Probably.
lot of players, but maybe they deliver the right players, and I think they have to give at least a space for 5, 6, 7, 8 million dollars, and that's maybe the right one there. That's maybe the one say, you know what, we appreciate what you did, but it's a business. It's not anymore like we know he's the figures franchise player. We don't say right now Senko's going to be traded. He is right now not on the list of the four player we just mentioned. That's pretty much it.
It's
I
surprising,
believe
but
they can trade Tyler Johnson tomorrow. They will do it before they trade Senkos. They try to trade Alex Killorn for the right move. They will do it. Senkos.
they may or may not, right? Like it's hard to say, but I think you'd like to think that. There, I really got to believe, knowing that 1990 group, they're all talking, and they're all talking about Toronto because I'm telling you, like those guys when they're all buddies, like Stamkos, Tavares, Peter Angelo, like they all grew up playing against each other and then with each other, and they moved around a little bit, and it would not shock me to see something like that.
Yeah, we'll see what happened there. But it's
I
just like
don't
mentioned
know.
about that one there.
I've always in my head, since they were kids, felt that they would try to unite.
We'll see. One more thing is it's Henrik Lundqvist is getting more close to the Washington Capitals. Um,
Really?
yep, and there's big, big conversation, a big news there last
That
night.
could be interesting.
And they believe like Samsonov, like you said, the top prospect for them as a goalie
Yeah,
at 23 years old. They
I
believe
like that move.
with him as a mentor, and
That'd be amazing.
I think I think he fit well there. Now they
I
don't.
think so too.
I don't sign. They will be sign up old B over there. I think it's over for him his days over there. So I think
Who?
it'll be great for
Oh,
them.
hope he's done. Yeah.
Maybe, and I think Lundqvist can get 20, 25, maybe 30 game per, maybe more 20,
Well,
20.
that would probably be perfect, right? Like let Samsonov. I know Samsonov had an injury in the playoffs, though, right?
Yeah, he was not on the roster.
Yeah. So let's assume he's going to be healthy. He's the number one. He gets 45, 50 games, and you give Henrik 25, 30. It's like a great fit.
Yeah,
Um, did you see the Justin Braun contract?
Justin Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.6, 1.8 million per year.
I thought that was again, another very team friendly deal, I thought.
Another one there. I think is another one. Really low everything on that.
I think we're seeing the economic reality of COVID.
Yep. Talking about buyout, he's going to have a lot of buyout for the next
I think
72
so.
hours. Now we go back to Columbus Blue Jacket. I think that's the one that I think, I don't know what happened, but I think you really like him. But I think, I don't know what happening with Tortorella and him, but Alex Wenberg um, is maybe the one's going to be breakout, buyout.
He needs to get out of there.
He's 26 years old. He signed until 22, 23 with $4.9 million.
The,
Um,
the
you know,
kid, like, okay, I watched him in the playoffs. I don't know what happened. He had one real good year. he's more playmaker than he is shooter, but he's a good player. He had some good numbers, and then he just, he lost time when they brought all those guys over. Like, they had Duchesne and Panarin, and I don't think he's like a physical player, but he's fast, he's skilled, and he plays two ways. So I don't think he's junk. I think he would be kind of like how Burakovsky got out of Washington, goes to Colorado, and has a big impact. I think he could go to a team like a Detroit and be a great second line center, right? Where it's like, okay, there's no pressure on you, buddy. Like, play. Like, we're not going to bury you. Play your game. We understand what you do. And if you could get them to eat $1 million of that $4 million, man, I mean, the other guy there that's weird to me is Josh Anderson. I mean, he had an injury plagued season. He's been on a super team friendly contract for 3 years, and he scored 45, 55, 62 goals in 3 years.
Yeah, he's probably back again with the injury.
Last year was injury riddled. He played with it, and then it got worse. And
So that would be something. But I
but
think
they don't like him. They don't want to sign him. They like shopping him constantly.
yeah, constantly. I think he's going to find a place for sure, a new home the next couple of
I
days.
think so.
When finally with Wenberg, I think he can bring a third line somewhere somehow. There's just only now at 4.9. I think it's too much. But if he can find a
Yeah.
contract around $2 million, 2.5, he can be that kind of offensive players. He can be. I don't say he's like Lars Eller, but he's that prototype of player. He can score 10, 15 goals per year. He can score 15
Yeah.
goals per year.
But he can get a lot more assists. Like, he's a very good playmaker. Like,
Yep.
he had
I don't think
46
he can be
assists,
that one
and
over there. I think he can be the third one over there and see what
yeah,
happens.
I
Move
think
on.
he had a 2 goal season, so that wasn't so good. But
Move on with UFA Wayne Simons. He's getting more and more phone call. Toronto is the last team
another
calling.
guy, Toronto, like an ex-Toronto Junior Canadian. I don't know if I told you the story about him. So Wayne was 89, and he was playing with the 88s and 89s, and he played double A up until midget.
Yeah, it's
And
another.
then he just burst out, and then he played in Carleton for a year, tier 2, and then he went to the OHL. And he loved, like, he would be another kid in that age group. He's not a kid now. I mean, these guys are all men. Sorry. I remember when they were kids, but he would love to play in Toronto. I'm sure of it. He would just be super happy. All these guys want to win a cup in Toronto someday. They would all talk and band together. I can see it. Spezza deal, right? Like the $700,000 deal, same thing.
Now the next news has always been Patrick Laney, still on the market, but they're just demanding a big center and also a defenseman. Uh,
What? They want a big center and a defenseman?
yeah, in return for Laney. So
What?
they believe like two players like that part over there. I
I,
just curious, just give you this part and don't fall apart. But do you trade Philip Dano and Romanov for Patrick Laney?
I think you think about it. I think you have to think about it because neither one of those guys is going to get you 40 goals. It's similar to when they traded Sergachev, where he hasn't really shown anything yet in the NHL. So there's still that unknown risk. If you're projecting Romanov to be what I think, which is a top 2 or a top 3D, then maybe you don't do it and you're patient. They got a lot of D in Montreal, but they're a little older, I think. Like, he's really good. Dano is definitely, wants a bigger role. But Patrick Laine would be a monster. Like, the guy can score.
My point behind this, if they knew the production of Kokanemi and also
Yeah.
and Suzuki was great,
Suzuki,
and they
yeah.
should trade Dano. Now, if they do that, they have to keep Max Domi as the third center. Now, do you think Winnipeg would be more interested to get Max Domi with a second round pick and Romanov for Patrick Laine, or they would prefer Philip Dano and Romanov?
Dano and Romanov, to me, I have no interest in Domi personally. I can't see anyone wanting to take that. Like, I think he's consistently underachieved. He had 1 year where he was motivated. He's really talented, but there's something weird there.
But
I
again, I
think
just this is just
I think I'd rather have Dano has got 0 blemishes on his record. He's an excellent second line guy that can flex up or down. And then Romanov is friggin' great. I think he's going to be a really good defenseman.
all right. So let's move on a little bit about what's going on left and right. The we have a lot of news right now, but Warner signed a contract with the under Warner is a AHL player with a Iowa Wild just signed a 1 year contract, standard AHL contract like a few minutes ago. So I just want to let you know that. By the way, I just surprised you. The Columbus Blue Jackets issued qualified offer to the following player: Josh Anderson, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Ryan McInnes, Kevin Stenlund, and then Gabriel Carlson, Vladislav Gavrikov. I love this kid, by the way. I don't know if you like.
Gavrikov?
Yeah, and then the goalie Matis Kivlevnieks. The player did not qualify are Paul Bittner, Marco Dano, Maxime Fortier, Justin Scott, Devin Shore. That's a little bit surprised me. Devin Shore, I think he's not be a regular, but I think he's a good one.
Yeah.
That one over there. And so there was like that's the one over there. And by the way, Winnipeg Jets, and I like those qualify Jason Arfkiz, Mason Appleton. I think this kid is great. I
Pretty
don't
good.
know Jack Roslovic. I
Yeah,
think
you
that's the
got
one I'm talking about. That's really one I like. I like this kid a lot. To be honest with you.
that's why it's just weird though when they're out there hunting for a second line center that they don't think he can fill that role.
Yep. Talking about this, before we jump, we have 5 minutes before we jump the last 15 minutes on the draft. I want you to, because you really Detroit fans,
Yeah.
and I want you to talk about that player because I know him a lot. He played on QM, but the Detroit Red Wing have loaned forward Joe Velino to the Malmo Red Ox on the
Oh, they
SHL
did, eh? Hmm.
for the entire season, 2021 season. Valeno have 11 goals, 12 assists, 54 games with the Grand Rapids Griffin last season. Honestly, I'm pretty sure you know Joe Valeno.
Oh yeah.
They have a lot. I remember when he was midget triple A.
First overall, right?
He came after that. Yeah, he came on the QM as like a lot of expectation. Remember like Esposito?
Totally, a lot of hype around him. He was physically mature at a young age. Was he exceptional status?
Yeah,
So he was playing in the queue at a younger age, like a year younger than normal.
yeah.
So he had really high expectations. So the exceptional status is challenging. So you look at a guy like Joe Veleno or Sean Day, and they were physically mature at a very young age, and they had nothing to gain by staying back. So you go, yeah, this guy should be playing in the queue, and he played very well as an underager. Um, he is fast. He is big. I think he's got a bigger body than people realize. He feels like he's a heavy player. Um, the knock on him is that he doesn't shoot the puck and that he can't shoot the puck very well. So he took that to heart. And I think he took his first training camp at Detroit, and they do a great job, as we discussed, um, in developing their players. And he went back to Drummondville and he got 42 goals. So that was by far his best season, an overage season, because he had 22, I think, the year before. And, he played very well in the AHL. So I think the issue with Joe Veleno, and you watch him in World Juniors, he played really well in the World Juniors, is he has skill and he has speed, but he takes a little bit to get it going. So what does that mean he is? Does he have separation speed? In some sense, yes. But does he have the finer skills? Does he think the game? And I think those are the things that are question marks about him. But I think no matter what, he's going to be a third line center in the NHL. He could flex up and be a really good second line center. And that's really the question. So I think he's going to be, he was a late pickup by the Red Wings at 30th in the draft. I was there for that draft. I thought they did, I think, really well in 18. They had Zadina and him in the first round. So I think he's a good prospect. He'll play in the NHL. They may hold him back for 1 more year just because of the expansion draft, but he's totally capable of playing the NHL now, I think. And then the
Yeah.
question is, what's his upside? Well, I think he'll be third line, maybe second.
Talking a little bit, you have a lot of players got signed like the lower contracts. I don't want to get there, but I want to talk about two other players sign up and they are young, everything like that. I'm pretty sure you know them. Like the Islanders, New York Islanders have re-signed defenseman Sebastian Aho to a 2-year contract, 1.45 million contract with an AAV of 725K. Um, you know, he's been to AHL level, honestly, and back up and down. Sebastian Aho is
Yeah,
funny. He's the same name, like
he's a little undersized, but he's a good defenseman.
yeah.
He's kind of like a 5'6", probably, right?
Then I want to talk about the another you know him a little bit more. The Buffalo Sabre have re-signed a forward Tage Thompson to a 2-year
Yeah,
contract, 4.2 million contract extension with a AAV of 1.4 million dollars. If you have a chance, talk a little bit more about Tage Thompson.
he comes from that Brady Kachuk group of players that came out of St. Louis and the U.S. development program.
Yep.
He's 6'4". He's got soft hands, got a little bit of a weird attitude sometimes, but he was a big part of that Ryan O'Reilly trade. And then he got hurt and missed the whole year last year. So they were really counting on him, I think, to be like a second line right winger. I see nothing that indicates to me that he can't do that. I believe that he will, if he's healthy, he's a productive NHLer. What you like about Alex Tuck, you would like about Tage Thompson. He's probably not as gritty, but he's maybe got a little bit better hands. So I think it's a risk, but not that much risk. Like they're only giving him 1.5 over 3 years. If he comes out and scores 20 goals like he's capable of, then Adams looks like a genius.
I think is a for his size and for what he can bring is a really good four line forward, and he can step up a little bit more on the depth chart. Does it make sense? Like I would prefer to have him like my four line players, six
You
four
think he's a
guy.
fourth line? Tage Thompson would be a terrible fourth line player. He's not um, he's not a punishing physical guy. He has great hands. He's got great moves, and he's skilled.
You
He's
really
six
believe
foot
he can
five.
play top six?
Yep, yep, on that for sure. Because if you look, he's totally capable of going third to second line. He's not going to play top line, but he's definitely got skill. Like if you watch him, he's very skilled. Like he had 12 points in 16 games in Rochester last year. He's scored everywhere. He's a 97. He's not young. He's not old, right? The injury screwed up his year. He had 6 goals in 8 games with Rochester the year before. He's very talented.
Yeah. So let's move on with the next thing. I want to I did a miscommunication about the trade for San Jose and Minnesota. I want to be sure to clarify that. I apologize, or I maybe read the wrong way. But San Jose have Akir Goldender, Devin Dunick, and a 2022 7th round pick from Minnesota, and they get an exchange. They gave the 2022 5th round pick, and the Minnesota retains a 50% contract, 2.167 million. So the trade of the 7th round pick, it was included with the Dubnik for the 5th round pick.
Yeah, the exchange picks.
Yeah.
And I misspoke because well, actually, I didn't really. He played mid Fairfield Rangers at 14 and then Long Island. So it's weird. He was in that group, but he did play U.S. development with guys like Austin Matthews.
Yep.
Jack Roslovic was there, who we talked about before. He's just a little behind where you would expect him, just because of the injury, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you about that one there.
He's from Arizona.
We mentioned already the QM already start last weekend, and we have already a case of positive on the Armanda Blainville situation, and
Like for COVID.
yeah, and it's really not strange. It's very hard in Quebec. They have like a zone, red zone, and we got friend zone, everything like that. And Blainville are in the red zone, and usually they should not play team sport. So now they are making a presentation for the government of Quebec with attempt to allow
God.
the Quebec game, the game between Quebec Rempart and the Blainville
Are they playing in front of fans?
They play with minimum fans in the building.
Hmm.
So,
Interesting.
I just want to mention this part over there is nothing like, major, but I just want to bring that part over there. Let's move on with what we expect today. Honestly, is the NHL. Yeah, I just want to mention I'm going to be back live tonight between 6:30, minimum for me, and then Michael will maybe jump after that. For the first round pick tonight will be very interesting. I want to give maybe you have maybe we have about 10 minutes to finish. I would like not to go through the draft round pick everything like that, but maybe some I call this like a stock market getting like better. You know what I mean? Like if you buy that one, you get a bit more and more for maybe the last 48 hours, 72 hours. Can you see a couple of players have a better stock market to maybe go higher level? They get draft a little bit higher at what they was expect, like maybe month ago, maybe 7 days ago. Would you see a couple of players you feel like, you know what, they maybe go a little bit higher level?
I think Jake Sanderson definitely has that possibility, and he could jump ahead of Drysdale.
I like that. I really like.
Um, I think the goalie is going to go higher. I think people are projecting him. Do you see how his 3 starts in the KHL? The guy's a 9.4
Yeah,
seven
I
goals
told you that.
against.
I told you that yesterday.
What? This guy's like he's let in 1 goal or something in like this first 3 games. It's like crazy.
Listen, it was between 10 to 15 on the many. What I mean, like I follow many.
He might go top 5 or 6.
I follow a lot of people like Brownmall or Budden or McKenzie or D'Amico, and I can draft side, and I look a lot
Yeah,
of different people about their mark everything like that, and they was average. Before it was average between 10 to 15. It was what it was his selection, but I'll be honest with you, Michael, I think you're absolutely right. I really believe he will maybe go before 10, and then you name another guy where I believe maybe Sanderson is going to be drafted before Jimmy Drysdale.
he very well could be. I think the more that I watch the two, I do not like Drysdale in his own zone. He does stuff that drives me nuts. When he gets the puck, okay, what the world changes, right? So he's elite that way, but he's not going to be a number one in my opinion. So if this guy is going to max out as a number 2 in the NHL, well, what's Sanderson? He's going to be a number 2. Okay, well, I want one guy with sandpaper, or do I want a guy that's got the ability to, run a first power play or a second power play? And they both probably could. I compare Sanderson closer to a young Ryan McDonough. Drysdale, I'm not sure what he is. He could be like a lowercase Quinn Hughes, right? He could be like not as high production. I think he caps down around 40, 45 points.
So, so I think you're absolutely right about that part over there. I think Sanderson's getting up. I just want to get you back again about your selection about because you love Detroit and Detroit are the number 4.
So confusing.
We can go to talk about the big selection between Ottawa and Los Angeles tonight, more Los Angeles King. But for this morning, I want you back again at Detroit Red Wings,
Right.
where most of them, I have about 7 in front of me. Most of them select Cole Perfecti as Eiserman pick for tonight. That's what they.
I don't see why you wouldn't. It's not going to be a bad pick. His IQ is off the charts on the ice. His skating doesn't. I don't love his skating and his speed, but he's super smart and he's got great skill. And if
So
Eiserman's evaluating him as saying, "Look, his hockey IQ is off the charts," it's the same argument you would have with Braden Point.
So my question to you is this part.
But what does he
It's
become?
right here, right? And then
Yeah.
I'm going to name you 3, 4 players. And I know you're going to smiling, but if you have a choice, if it's your pick tonight, Jake Sanderson, Lucas Raymond, Jimmy Tristel, and Yaroslav Askarov. Do you believe those four names I just mentioned to you? Of course, we never know. I mean, scouting and Ben, that's your job. It's not easy to predict the future. But you believe those four names I just mentioned to you has going to have a better career or better fit for Detroit at long term compared to Cole Perfetti?
The goalie could be a superstar. Um, I'm having a really hard time with Lucas Raymond, and I don't know if it's just that we've seen him so much, but when you watch him and if you look at him with new eyes, he forechecks really. He's smart. He play makes. He's got a high skill level, and he can score a little bit. But does he cap out? I don't know the answer. Is he as good as Nylander or Marner? I don't know. Is he that's I think those are the closest things I'm trying to evaluate him as, and it's hard for me to project. So if you say he's as good as Marner, you take him. But Perfetti is, if they're looking at him and saying, yeah, this is our Marner, because Marner's intelligence on the ice is off the charts, and it's not about his physical stature, then you go Perfetti.
Okay, so
And you mentioned Drysdale, like they don't have anybody like Drysdale. So there's a case to be made for that. He's a good kid. I think he needs to work on fitness. They would fix that. They would have to fix in their own zone. They already have a guy like that named Cholowski. And I think he's smarter than Cholowski and he's got more offensive upside, but defensively it's gonna be the same mess. That's my assessment right now.
so I will eliminate for you Sanderson, Raymond, and Trista. I will be back again at the same question.
Well, I mean, Sanderson's a very safe pick.
Perfetti or Askarov?
Man, I don't know. I it's so tough. And you don't put Rossi in there?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of talking about Rossi. I think his numbers are a little inflated, and I don't think he can play center in the NHL. I mean, the safe pick is Perfetti because the guy's going to play. He's going to play top six sometime. That's just going to happen, in my opinion. Askarov, why wouldn't you take this guy? He's like, he's a monster. This guy could be a monster for 15 years.
I'll be honest with you, Michael. At the end of the day, this is my thought about this. You go with Cole Perfetti or you go with Askarov. At the end of the day,
I agree. Like
I'm going to miss both of them. It's just to see what they have or maybe what Eiserman believe it would bring more to the team. But at the end of the day, you don't make a mistake here. Askarov, I
don't think you're going to go wrong with either of those two players. Like, I don't see the risk in this guy. He's already playing pro.
Yes.
He played as an underager at the World Juniors, and people are criticizing that. He had a couple bad games, and then he straightened it out.
What I would say to you, I'm excited about tonight is because sometimes you've been there. We've been to many drafts. Sometimes drafts are not great as a player. Like you can go 1 to 6, 7, and then say, what the rest it's a big level. But right now, I'll be honest with you, you can go. Listen, you can go to,
there's
all the way to
this
that.
draft.
Keaton Gully is number 16 right now with Montreal. Dawson Mercer 17 and Amirov is 18. Look, Anton Lundell is now 21. I think he's a little bit low, but
I think everybody is sleeping on Wallander.
I think you have a lot of
the Swedish defenseman. I think could in normal years that guy's top 10 or 12.
Now to finish my original question.
Sorry.
So. You have any other one more players you believe their stock market is a bit increase now, you believe, or you're going to be maybe the top 10, or they will jump from 10 to 5 or 15 to 10 or 20 to 15? Do you have one more player? I mean, I have one more, but
I feel like Jack Quinn does some really good stuff, and some people really will value that. I don't know how high he'll go. He could go as high as.
So from Brofman and from McKenzie, Jack Quinn now is in front of Ruzi and Olds and Askarov and Jarvis and Mercer. And
You if you watch that kid, what does he not do? He's fast, he's smart, and he scores big goals. I think he's better than Holtz maybe because Holtz has got like a world class shot and he can score, but
so
his skating's a little choppy, right?
I
But
believe
Quinn is like quick.
I believe Quinn played with Rosie, right?
He did, and
So
they both played in Ottawa, right? So there's a
yeah.
case to be made for does Ottawa jump up and grab one of those guys at 5?
So do you believe Quinn or which one between Quinn Rosie you would take?
Well, I mean, if you look at Rosie and you say, the comparisons I keep hearing are Marchand, Quinn, I think you got to take Rossi, but I think Rossi's get his number. They're both overagers, right? Are they not both like a year ahead
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me there.
here?
I'm just trying to
Uh,
find. I just tried to find a spot for Askarov. I think right now the only spot I see is Detroit or Minnesota.
Detroit, Minnesota, Buffalo, Nashville.
No,
Like
but it's too hard. Like right now it's 12, but I'm looking for the top 10. I see right now Detroit can get him. I don't see Ottawa, Ducks, and Devils. And
they
then
had no need for him.
maybe Saber, but Saber don't going to give up on Quinn or Marco Ruzzi. One team is Minnesota Wild. They can get him very well. And then number 10. So he maybe slip to Predator Nashville, but I think so. Askarov. Sorry, I move up to another direction with you,
That's
but
all right. I do have to jump in a minute, but
yeah, I just want to finish me. I will say to you, Hendrix Lapierre, I believe he's going to be before 16. I think he's my player where nobody expect him high. I think Lapierre have more. His only problem is a concussion for a couple of years, and maybe that way could be slipped lower. But I think Lapierre have a lot of downside of what many team thinking about him. So I can be surprised about him. I don't want to hold you more. Just let you know, fans, hockey fans. Thanks to be here today.
we'll jump back on.
We're going to be back up tonight 6:30. And Michael, you joined me before this. We're going to go here, and during the day, you have any update, I would jump back for a couple of short video for you guys. But again,
Right.
Mike, thanks to be here today.
Yeah.
See you tonight. Have a great day, everybody. Look forward to see you tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great Tuesday.